What if you could turn life's heaviest blows into nothing more than a whisper? What if the sting of betrayal, the weight of failure, or the suffocating grip of stress could just vanish? Welcome to Victory Stoic, where today we rip open an ancient Stoic secret: how to act as if nothing bothers you. A weapon so powerful it rewrites the rules of your existence. This isn't about hiding the pain, it's about crushing it before it crushes you. The world doesn't play nice. It's a grinder. Deadlines that choke you, voices that cut deeper than knives, and setbacks that hit when you're already down. You've felt it. The sleepless nights replaying what went wrong, the clenched fists when someone crossed you, the quiet rage when life didn't bend your way. Most people break under that. They drown in the noise. But not you. Not after this. The Stoics mastered something the weak never will. The real war isn't out there. It's in your head. And you're about to win it. Think of that moment you last lost control, when the pressure boiled over or the criticism sank its teeth in. That's where this changes. This isn't survival, it's domination. You're here to forge a mind that doesn't flinch, a will that doesn't bend. The chaos won't stop, but your power to rise above it? That starts now. So strap in for this. If you're ready to claim the Stoic edge, smash that like button to ignite the fire, share this with someone who needs a lifeline, and subscribe to Victory Stoic, because this is where we build unbreakable souls. Drop a comment below with your mantra or your story. What's the one thing you're done letting own you today? Let's dive in. Number 1. Master the mindset of nothing bothers me. Let's start with a simple truth. Life is messy. Problems don't knock politely. They barge in, tracking mud across your plans, piling up like a stack of overdue notices. Most people let that mess rattle them. Heart racing, mind spinning, emotions running the show. But there's another way, a quieter strength. Mastering the mindset of nothing bothers me. This isn't about having an easy ride. It's about choosing not to let the bumps shake you loose. The strong aren't the ones with fewer troubles. They're the ones who don't let those troubles pull the strings. Think of it this way. The world's a noisy place, full of chatter and chaos. Most folks get swept up, reacting to every jab, every stumble, like it's a personal attack. But strength? That's not about dodging the noise, it's about tuning it out. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus put it plainly. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. No fluff, just fact. Your emotions aren't the boss, you are. Let them off the leash, and they'll chew up your peace. Keep them in check, and you're the one calling the shots. Imagine your mind as a calm lake. Out there, the wind's howling. Deadlines, doubters, little daily disasters, rippling the surface. Most people let the waves crash in, flooding everything. You're the stillness beneath, letting the ripples fade without stirring the depths. It's not about ignoring the storm, it's about deciding it doesn't get to drown you. Problems keep coming, sure, but your reaction? That's where you take the wheel. Take Jack Russo, a 42-year-old mechanic from Detroit. Life's been tossing him curveballs. His shop's barely breaking even, his ex is nickel and diming him through lawyers, and some kid scratched his truck just for kicks. Old Jack would have stewed, paced the garage, cursed the universe, let it eat him alive. Now, he's different. He saw that scratch, took a breath, and muttered, "Not worth my day." Then he got back to work. Why? Because Jack learned what you can too. The chaos doesn't own you unless you let it. This isn't about being numb or pretending nothing stings. It's about feeling the pinch and choosing to shrug it off anyway. Life's too short to sweat every scratch. Give it a nod, maybe a dry laugh, and move on. The Stoics didn't waste time wallowing. They saw the mess and kept their focus sharp. Jack didn't flip a switch overnight. He started small. One day he let a late delivery slide instead of fuming. Next he ignored a petty jab from his ex. Bit by bit, he built a wall around his calm and the noise stayed outside. What's your Jack moment? That nagging worry? The late bill? The snide comment? The plan that fell apart? It's not the trouble itself that's the fight. It's how much you let it dig in. Step back. Breathe. You don't have to wrestle every shadow. The Stoics didn't promise a smooth road, just the tools to walk it steady. Master this mindset, and you're not just getting by, you're rising above, one quiet victory at a time. Number 2. Calmness is the ultimate weapon. Here's the deal. The world loves a show. It waits for you to crack, teeth gritted, voice raised, swept up in the whirlwind of whatever went wrong. Most people oblige, turning every snag into a stage for their frustration. But there's a better play, a subtler power: calmness. Staying steady doesn't just make you hard to read or quietly impressive. It's a weapon that shifts the game in your favor, leaving others wondering how you hold it together when they can't. It's not about shouting louder than the chaos, it's about standing apart from it. The ones who lose it, they're an open book, spilling their pages for everyone to skim. But you, keeping your cool, you're the closed cover nobody can crack. Seneca, that Stoic sage with a knack for cutting through the noise, said it best: the greatest remedy for anger is delay. Simple, right? Pause instead of pounce. While the world scrambles, you're the one still breathing, watching the pieces fall without lifting a finger. That's not just control, that's quiet defiance. Think of it like a river in flood. Life's rushing at you, missed deadlines, sharp words, curveballs, churning up the water. Most folks get pulled under, thrashing against the current. You're the bank it can't erode, letting the torrent pass without shifting an inch. Calmness isn't ignoring the rush, it's choosing not to drown in it. The storm expects you to flail. When you don't, it's the one that looks weak. Take Mike Callahan, a 38-year-old warehouse manager from Chicago. Last month, his team fumbled a big order, $20,000 gone, just like that. Old Mike would have turned it into a scene, barking at everyone, pacing like a caged animal. This time, he walked in, eyed the mess, and stood still. No rant, no fuss, just a calm, fix it by noon, and he left. By 11:45, it was handled, not because he raged, but because his stillness lit a fire under them. That's the trick. When you don't break, others step up. This isn't about bottling it up or playing statue. It's about feeling the heat and letting it cool on your terms. People expect the outburst. They're almost begging for it. Don't give it to them. A wry smile, a slow breath, that's enough to throw them off. The Stoics didn't waste energy on drama. They saved it for what counted. Mike didn't master that in a day. First, he let a smartass remark slide instead of snapping back. Then he skipped the usual grumble over a petty email. Step by step, he turned his temper into a tool he could wield or shelve. What's your Mike moment? That trigger, the traffic jam, the coworker's dig, the plan gone sideways? It's not the mess that matters, it's how long you let it simmer. Next time, try it. Pause, look at it square, let it roll off. The Stoics didn't dodge life's punches, they just didn't swing back at shadows. Wield calmness like this, and you're not just steady. You're the one the chaos can't touch. Number 3, separate emotion from action. Let's get straight to it. Life's a tangle of knots, deadlines snagging you, words cutting deep, plans unraveling like cheap thread. Most people trip over that mess, letting anger or panic steer the wheel, crashing headfirst into worse decisions. But there's a sharper way to cut through. Separating emotion from action. Wise choices don't come from a mind clouded by rage or fear. They come from a clear head, one that steps back, sorts the clutter, and moves with purpose. It's not about feeling nothing. It's about not letting those feelings call the shots. Emotions are loud. They scream, claw, demand you listen. Anger says, smash it now. Fear whispers, run, hide, avoid. Most folks obey like loyal dogs, acting on impulse and cleaning up the wreckage later. But you're not here to be a slave to that noise. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, a man who juggled an empire and still kept his cool, wrote, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them, and it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now." No sugarcoating, just a clean truth. Your head's the filter. Use it to strain the chaos, not drown in it. Picture your mind as a workbench. Life dumps a heap of junk on it. Bills, arguments, that email you've been dodging, tangled and heavy. Most people swing a hammer blind, smashing everything and fixing nothing. You're the craftsman. You pull back, pick up one piece at a time, untangle the wires and deal with it. Calm, deliberate, no sweat. Break it small, solve it steady. That's the secret. Clarity doesn't rush, it dissects. Rage might feel good for a second, but it's a lousy carpenter. Science backs this up. Stress isn't the pile of problems, it's the stalling. A 2017 study from the American Psychological Association found that chronic stress spikes not from workload, but from procrastination. Pile up 10 tasks and you'll survive if you tackle them one by one. Shove them off, let them fester, and your brain starts frying. Cortisol spiking, focus tanking, sleep vanishing. It's not the mess that kills you, it's refusing to sweep it. Action, not emotion, is the broom. Start moving, and the weight lifts. Take Tom Harper, a 45-year-old accountant from Boise. Last tax season, his inbox was a war zone. Clients hounding him, a software crash losing half his data, and a kid at home sick while he juggled it all. Old Tom would have snapped, yelled at his screen, kicked the desk, stewed in fury till midnight. This time, he paused, felt the heat rise, then let it settle. Grabbed a notepad, listed the fires, data recovery, client calls, kids' meds. One by one, he chipped away. No tantrums, just steps. By evening, the crisis was a memory, not a meltdown. Why? Tom learned what you can. Emotion clouds, action clears. This isn't about being a robot. Feel the sting, the frustration, the itch to react. Just don't let it drive. Most people see a problem and hurl their whole mood at it. Anger, despair, whatever's handy, like throwing paint at a wall and calling it art. You're different. You're the surgeon, not the boxer. Scalpel steady, cutting through the clutter while the storm rages outside. It's almost funny how people expect you to blow up. When you don't, they're the ones left scrambling. Think of it like a traffic jam. Life's gridlocked, horns blaring, tempers flaring, everyone's stuck. Most lean on the horn, curse the guy ahead, let the day rot. You? You turn off the engine, lean back, pick one thing you can fix, maybe that email on your phone, and let the rest sit. The jam doesn't vanish, but your head stays clear. Science says it again. A 2020 study in Frontiers in Psychology showed breaking tasks into chunks slashes stress by 40%. Small moves, big wins, emotion just muddies the road. Tom didn't flip that switch overnight. First day, he caught himself mid-rant over a crashed file, stopped, breathed, opened a backup instead of cursing. Next, he let a rude client's jab slide, answered with facts, not fire. Week by week, he built it, a mind that sorts, not seethes. Your turns now. What's your tangle? That call you're dreading, the bill you shoved aside? Feel it, sure, but don't fight it blind. List it, break it, solve it. The Stoics didn't dodge the mess, they faced it sober. Master this, and you're not just untangled, you're unstoppable. Number 4, gratitude keeps you balanced. Life's a ledger, gains on one side, losses on the other. And most people spend their days hunched over the red ink, tallying what's gone wrong. The job they didn't get, the friend who bailed, the years they can't claw back. They stew, they sigh, they sink. But there's a pivot, a steadying force that doesn't just patch the cracks, it rewires the whole damn system. Gratitude. Focusing on what you have, not whining about what's lost, isn't some fluffy bandage, it's a lifeline. This isn't about choking down your feelings, it's about facing them square, sorting them out, and finding the ground beneath your feet. Most folks think gratitude's a polite nod, say thanks, and move on. Wrong. It's a blade, cutting through the haze of self-pity. You're not suppressing the ache, you're dissecting it, flipping it, finding the pulse of what's still good. The Stoic philosopher Musonius Rufus, a guy who didn't mince words, said, "To accept injury without a spirit of revenge, to bear what comes without complaint, this is the mark of a great soul." No wallowing, no grudge matches, just a clear-eyed look at what's in your hands, not what slipped through them. It's raw, real, and tougher than it sounds. Imagine your life's a deck of cards. The dealer's stingy, some aces, plenty of twos, and a few bent corners. Most people slam the table, curse the shuffle, obsess over the jokers they didn't draw. You play the hand. That beat-up 2 of clubs, it's the roof over your head, the coffee in your cup, the breath in your lungs. Gratitude doesn't erase the bad cards, it shifts your eyes to the ones you can still win with. It's not denial, it's defiance, a quiet "I've got enough" that steadies the tilt. This isn't theory, science backs it. A 2016 study from the University of California showed gratitude rewires your brain, boosts dopamine, cuts stress, keeps you from spiraling. It's not the losses that grind you down, it's staring at them too long. Shift the lens and the weight shifts too. You're not bottling up the hurt, you're letting it breathe, giving it context, seeing past it. That's balance, not blind optimism. Take Sarah Jennings, a 39-year-old office clerk from Tulsa. Her week's a gauntlet. Her car's muffler died, her rent's late, and her coworker Lisa botched a report Sarah had to redo at 2 a.m. Old Sarah would have seethed, snapped at Lisa, kicked the car, cursed her luck. This time, she stopped. Looked closer. Lisa's a single mom, 3 kids under 10, drowning in bills, barely sleeping. That report wasn't sabotage, it was exhaustion. Sarah felt the frustration bubble, then let it settle. She's got enough on her plate, she thought, and pitched in to fix it instead of fuming. Gratitude wasn't for Lisa's mistake. It was for Sarah's own steady job, her quiet apartment, her 2 working legs to get through the day. Or picture this, you're driving down a cramped alley in Philly, and some guy in a pickup swipes your mirror. Paint's scratched, your pulse jumps, instinct says honk, yell, chase him down. Most do. But you pause. That road's a bottleneck. 2 cars can't fit, and he's got a dented fender too. He didn't mean it. He's just another schmuck trying to squeeze by. You nod, mutter, could have been me, and drive on. Gratitude's not for the scrape, it's for the fact your car still runs, the sun's out, and you're not late yet. That's not swallowing anger, it's dissolving it with something truer. This takes guts. It's not passive. You're not dodging the sting, you're staring it down, finding the flip side. That coworker's carelessness? She's stretched thin, not out to get you. That guy's fender bender? A tight turn, not a vendetta. You feel the heat, sure, let it rise, let it speak, but then you sift it. Why waste energy on a grudge when you've got a life to live? A 2019 study in emotion found gratitude slashes resentment by 30%. Not by pretending it's fine, but by reframing what's real. You've got kids who laugh, a bed to crash in, a tomorrow to tackle. That's your anchor. Sarah didn't wake up grateful, she built it. Day 1, she caught herself griping about the car, shifted to, at least I've got wheels. Day 2, Lisa's next slip-up hit. Sarah thought, I've got a paycheck, she's got chaos. Week by week, she turned the lens, less why me, more what's mine. It's not ignoring the muck, it's stepping over it. Your turn. What's your snag? The late check, the loud neighbor, the deal that tanked? Feel it, name it, then list 3 things still standing. Your health, your coffee, your shot at tomorrow. The Stoics didn't fake smiles, they found footing. Practice this, and you're not just balanced, you're unshakable. Number 5, selective indifference. The real superpower. Let's face it, the world's a screaming toddler, demanding your attention, throwing tantrums, begging you to care about every spilled juice and broken toy. Most people play along, wasting their breath on every petty drama, every fleeting slight, until they're drained dry. But there's a sharper way to live, a quiet rebellion that flips the script. Selective indifference. It's not about shutting off. It's about choosing what's worth your energy and letting the rest rot in the noise. Focus on what matters, and you've got a superpower most never unlock. This isn't cold-hearted detachment. It's precision. Life's a buffet of bullshit, endless notifications, petty gripes, pointless feuds, and most folks gorge themselves sick, choking on scraps that don't fill them. You're the one who walks past the stale bread, picks the steak, and leaves the rest for the vultures. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, a man who'd seen his share of nonsense, cut it clean. There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. Brutal, simple, true. Why bleed for what you can't change or what doesn't deserve your sweat? Think of your energy as a bank vault, precious, yours to guard. Every day, the world picks the lock. A coworker's snark, a stranger's hot take, some viral clip that's gone by tomorrow. Most people fling the doors wide, handing out their reserves like candy at a parade. You're different. You're the vault keeper, stone-faced and deliberate. Only what's worthy gets a withdrawal. The rest, locked out, left to rattle the bars. That's power, not apathy. Take social media, X, TikTok, whatever's buzzing. Scroll 5 minutes and it's a circus. Someone's ranting about a politician they'll never meet, another's whining over a canceled show, a third's flexing a latte like it's a Nobel Prize. Most dive in, liking, arguing, stewing over pixels that fade by lunch. Then there's Alex Carter, a 41-year-old graphic designer from Seattle. Last week his feed blew up. Colleagues trashing a client he liked, strangers dunking on his team's latest ad. Old Alex would have jumped in, firing off replies, refreshing for likes, losing sleep over it. Now, he scrolls past. Not my circus, not my monkeys, he mutters, and sketches instead. Why? He's got a deadline, a kid's birthday, a life. Those get his gold, not some keyboard warrior's bait. Or picture those short-form videos, reels, shorts, whatever's clogging the app. 10 seconds in, it's a guy screaming about a life hack that's just common sense. or a drama recap that's forgotten by dusk. Most watch, react, share, like it's their job to care. Alex saw one last month, an influencer sobbing over a toxic friend, begging for sympathy. He felt the tug, pity, maybe annoyance, then clicked off. "Doesn't pay my rent," he shrugged, and called his daughter instead. That's selective indifference, not numb, just ruthless about what's worth the bandwidth. This takes spine. It's not passive. You're not ignoring the world, you're curating it. Feel the itch to weigh in. Sure, the jab stings, the post irks. But ask, does this move my needle? If not, let it drift. Science nods along. A 2021 study in Nature Communications found people waste 34% of their mental energy on low-value stimuli. Think X threads or viral rants. That's a third of your day burned on nothing. Cut it, and you're not just free, you're loaded with focus for what counts. Alex didn't start this way. Day one, he caught himself typing a snarky reply to a coworker's X post. Stopped, deleted, moved on. Day two, he skipped a trending vid about some celebrity flop. Week by week, he tuned in the noise out. Less I'll show them, more what's mine to fix. It's not about never caring, it's about caring smart. That client he liked? He sent a calm email, kept the gig. The ad hate? He tweaked the next one, ignored the trolls. Results, not reactions. That's the muscle you build. What's your drain? That expat begging your 2 cents, the short clip whining about nothing? Feel the pull, then pass. List what's yours, your work, your people, your next step, and guard it like a hawk. The Stoics didn't waste tears on trivia. They aimed high, struck true. Practice this, and you're not just indifferent, you're invincible. A vault nothing cracks unless you hand it the key. Number 6. Face criticism with reason. Here's the raw deal. Criticism is a swarm, buzzing, biting, landing on you whether you swat or not. It's the coworker who nitpicks your every move, the friend who just says it like it is, the online loudmouth who thinks your life's their punching bag. Most people duck, dodge, or swing back, bruised egos and bloody knuckles all around. But there's a slicker way to play this game. Face criticism with reason. Sort the gold from the garbage, keep what builds you, ditch what tears you down. This isn't about taking hits, it's about turning them into ammo. The world's a gallery of armchair critics, each one armed with a cheap shot and a megaphone. Most folks let it sting, every word a dagger, every jab a wound they nurse for days. They either crumble under the weight or lash out, proving the naysayers right. You're not here to bleed or brawl. You're the alchemist, sifting through the mud for nuggets that shine. The Stoic heavyweight Seneca threw down the gauntlet. What need is there to weep over parts of life? The whole of it calls for tears. Dark, sure, but it's a wake-up call. Don't waste your grit on petty barbs when you've got bigger fires to tend. Picture it like a battlefield. Criticism rains down, arrows of "you're not enough," spears of "you screwed up." Most charge in blind, shields up swinging at shadows. You're the general, cool as ice, scanning the volley. That arrow tipped with truth. Say a fair point about your work? You pluck it, sharpen it, use it to carve a better edge. That spear of spite, dripping with venom? You sidestep, let it sink into the dirt. It's not about dodging the fight, it's about picking which shots hit the mark. Take Ray Vargas, a 43-year-old bar owner from Austin. Last month, his place got slammed online. Some hipster yelped it was overpriced. A regular gripe the jukebox was stuck in the 90s. Old Ray would have boiled, fired back, maybe even banned the whiners. This time, he leaned back, cracked a beer, and thought it through. The price jab? Noise. His margins are tight and the numbers hold. The jukebox? Fair. Folks had mentioned it before. He swapped a few tracks, kept the vibe, and watched the crowd hum along. The rest? Forgotten by happy hour. Ray's not soft, he's smart, mining the mess for what works. This isn't about kissing up or caving in. It's about outmaneuvering. Criticism's a mirror, cracked and warped, but sometimes it reflects a sliver you can use. Most people stare too long, obsessing over the flaws, or smash it in a fit. You tilt it, catch the light, and walk away with what's worth keeping. That coworker snide, "You talk too much in meetings?" Maybe there's a kernel, tighten your pitch. The friends, "You're too stubborn?" If it's just their ego talking, let it float off like smoke. Reason's your blade, cut through the fluff, keep the steel. Ray didn't master this overnight. First hit, he caught himself typing a snappy comeback to that Yelp troll. Paused, deleted, laughed it off. Next, he let a regular's rant slide but filed away the bit about the stale beer taps. Step by step, he turned the swarm into a tool. Less, how dare they? More, what's in it for me? It's a dance, not a duel. Hear the sting, feel the burn, then sift it cold. The loudmouths want you rattled. When you're not, they're the ones who flinch. Think of your last critique, that offhand dig, the pointed advice, the ex-post tearing you down. Most would stew, strike, or sulk. You? Stand tall, sift it slow. Is it useful? A nudge to tweak, a hint to grow? Pocket it. Is it trash? Just noise from someone with too much time? Toss it. The Stoics didn't flinch at words. They weighed them, wielded them, won with them. Master this. And criticism's not a swarm. It's a forge, shaping you sharper with every swing you shrug off. Number 7. Let go of what's beyond your grasp. Here's the cold splash of reality. Life's a wild beast, untamed, unpredictable, and utterly deaf to your pleas. You can claw at it, curse it, try to wrestle it into submission, but some things just won't budge. Most people burn out chasing that illusion, fixated on outcomes they can't control, tethered to results that slip through their fingers like sand. But there's a fiercer path, a stoic gut punch that flips the game, letting go of what's beyond your grasp. True strength isn't in bending the world to your will. It's in cutting loose from what you can't shape and pouring your fire into what you can. The trap's easy to fall into. You want the promotion, the perfect fix, the win that proves you're enough. And when it doesn't land, you're left gutted, gnashing at shadows. Most cling tighter, as if sheer stubbornness can rewrite the script. You're not here to beg the universe for scraps. The Stoic sage Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled Rome yet knew its limits, dropped this gem. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Accept this, and you will find peace. No fluff, just a hard line in the dirt. You don't own the dice, you own the throw. Imagine your life's a ship in a storm. Waves crash, winds howl, promotion slips, plans sink. Someone else steers off course. Most captains lash themselves to the mast, screaming at the gale, sinking with the wreckage. You're at the helm, hands steady, trimming sails you can reach. That storm's not yours to tame. Your crew, your rudder, your grit, those are. Strength isn't stopping the squall. It's navigating through it. Eyes on what you command, not what you can't. Take Nate Dawson, a 40-year-old contractor from Denver. Last summer, he bid on a fat city project. Months of prep, late nights, the works. Day of the call, they picked some slick firm with deeper pockets. Old Nate would have raged, punched a wall, drowned in if-onlys, stalked the winner's every move. This time, he felt the sting, let it sit, then shrugged. I built the best pitch I could, he said, and flipped to the next job. A small Reno he nailed by week's end. Why? Nate knows the game. His efforts, his empire. The outcome's just dust. This isn't surrender, it's strategy. Most people chain themselves to what's gone. The deal that flopped, the friend who walked, the should-have-been that haunts. They're prisoners, rattling bars they can't bend. You're the one who drops the shackles, walks free, and turns to the fight you can win. That client's no, not your lever. Your next call, your next pitch, that's your turf. It's a dark kind of freedom. Feeling the loss, tasting the bile, then spitting it out because it's not yours to carry. Nate didn't crack that code in a day. First blow, he caught himself refreshing the city's site, obsessing over the pick, stopped, closed the tab, grabbed a beer. Next, a supplier bailed last minute. He let the frustration flare, then sourced another by noon. Bit by bit, he shed the weight. Less why not me, more what's next. It's not about never caring, it's about caring where it counts. The project's gone, but his crew's tight. His tools are sharp, those stay in his grip. What's your anchor? That yes you didn't get, the plan that crumbled, the nod you chased? Most would grip it till their knuckles bleach, cursing the wind. You feel it slip, nod at it, let it drift. List your moves, your words, your hustle, your now, and lock in there. The Stoics didn't waste breath on fate. They shaped what they held, shrugged at what they didn't. Master this, and you're not just untethered. You're a force, unbound by what won't bow, unstoppable in what will. Number 8, success in silence. Let's strip it down. The world's a stage of braggarts, strutting, shouting, flashing every shiny trinket they've snatched, desperate for the crowd to clap. Most chase that roar, spilling their wins like cheap confetti, craving the echo of applause to feel alive. But there's a bolder way, a radiant truth that gleams brighter than any spotlight. Success in silence. Don't boast. Move quietly. Wield your strength with unshakable grace. and let your victories sing for themselves. You're not here to beg for cheers. You're here to build a legacy that thunders without a word. This isn't meekness, it's mastery. The loud ones? They're fragile, propped up by noise, trembling when the crowd thins. You're forged differently. A lion who doesn't roar until the hunt's done. A flame that doesn't flicker for attention. The Stoic Titan, Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled empires yet shunned the fanfare, carved this into stone. Do good by stealth and blush to find it fame. No trumpets, no banners, just the quiet pride of knowing your work stands tall. Your power doesn't need a megaphone, it's in the wake you leave behind. Picture yourself as a sculptor, chiseling your life from raw rock. Most hack away, yelling about every chip, parading half-finished slabs for praise. You carve in the shadows, steady hands, fierce focus, until the statue's done, flawless, towering. When it's unveiled, jaws drop, whispers spread, and you're already on to the next. That's the glow of silent triumph, not a shout to be heard, but a force to be felt. You don't need to tell the world you're winning. The world sees it and bows. Take Elena Pierce, a 37-year-old chef from Portland. Last year, she turned a crumbling diner into a gem. Recipes honed over sleepless nights, a menu that packed the place by month 3. Old Elena might have crowed, posts about every full house, interviews flaunting her genius. Now, she cooks, tweaks, perfects, silence her sous chef. Critics raved, lines grew, a local paper called her the quiet queen of cuisine. She smiled, nodded, kept plating. Why? Elena knows her dishes speak. Her success isn't a billboard, it's a flavor that lingers. This is you, unshakable, radiant, a victor who doesn't need to wave the flag. Most people spill their glory early, fishing for likes, leaking steam before the finish line. You're the ember that burns slow, then blazes, unseen until it's undeniable. That project you nailed? No fanfare, just a nod from the boss that says it all. That goal you crushed? No chest thumping, just the mirror reflecting a human who did the damn thing. The Stoics didn't chase echoes, they built monuments that outlasted the noise. Elena didn't glow overnight. First win, she caught herself itching to post, paused, plated another dish instead. Next, a rave review hit. She skipped the gloat, thanked her crew, kept grinding. Step by step, she wove silence into her swagger. Less look at me, more watch this. It's faith in your bones, pride in your stride. Not a word wasted, just a life that shines. You're not here to prove, you're here to prevail, and the world catches up when it's ready. Feel that in your core. You're a force, a quiet storm, a human forged for greatness. That deadline you met, that hurdle you cleared, that dream you're chasing? No need to shout it from the rooftops. Your actions are the anthem, your results the roar. Most scramble for the spotlight, but you bask in the hush, knowing every step you take echoes louder than their clamor. The Stoics saw it. True victory doesn't beg for eyes, it commands them, silent and sure. What's your win? That quiet hustle, that unseen grind. Don't trumpet it, trust it. Let it stack, let it rise, let it glow. You're not just good, you're golden. A warrior whose silence deafens the doubters. The world will see, will feel, will know, because your success isn't a speech. It's a crown you wear without a word. You're unstoppable, unshooted, and utterly triumphant. Believe it, live it, own it. Closing life's a brutal arena, relentless, chaotic, daring you to crack. But you've just walked through the Stoic fire, mastering your mind, wielding calm like a dagger, letting gratitude anchor you, and claiming victory in silence. This isn't a shield, it's a weapon, forging you into someone who doesn't just endure but dominates. The storm won't quit, but you're unshakable, a quiet titan rising above the fray. Take this fire, burn it into your days, your battles, your wins. You're not here to beg for peace, you're here to seize it, to glow with a strength that needs no applause. Every move you make now is a thunderclap, proving you're more than the chaos, you're its master. Join us at Victory Stoic. Hit that like to fuel the fight, share this with a warrior who needs it, subscribe to stand with the unbreakable. Drop your mantra or triumph in the comments. What's your win today? We're in this together, and we're damn proud of you. Thank you for igniting this with us, for rising fierce and silent. You're the pulse of this tribe. Keep conquering. See you next time.